for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast.
Simmer Down with Sean Simpson. celebrating a check with the tip. His 100th goal in his 300th game, and it's a Gordie Howe hat trick to tie it.
The sickest Ottawa Senators podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Hey everyone. Unfortunately, we have some bad news today that Sean cannot make it due to an emergency family issue. So it's just me on today. This is a little new for me. I haven't really done anything quite like this. Only 15 hours into my podcast career. So bear with me. Love to take some questions today, answer those if possible. Let's just try and roll with this and see how long we can go, and we'll take it from there. And I think we should start off kind of with a recap. I think Sean would ask me what I thought of last week's game, so we'll start there. And I think obviously it's not a great game. I thought there were some really good moments of the game because they played super well at the start, and then it's just breakdown after breakdown. So from there, like the first goal, you lose the draw, you don't get to your man. Fine, I'll deal with that. The offside, that really sucks. I think, they didn't really handle adversity well there. They had a great cycle. It was one of their best shifts of the game, obviously. And then they, don't get that goal, and they kind of just crumble. They let in the next goal. And that hurts. I think that's something this team needs to work on over time. It's just building that resilience to adversity throughout the game. And they're a young team, so that will happen over time, I think, with the character guys that they have. But you really, really need to bear down after something like that and not allow the momentum of the game to kind of, go in the other team's hands. Tip in on the second goal. You should not put yourself in that position. Third goal, turnover in the neutral zone, not hard on the puck in your own zone. And then the fourth, chance off a draw, allows, kind of like a 2-on-2, half 2-on-1 right off the faceoff. Not ready, not hard. Then you start to wonder where the timeout is. Something that I know fans have talked about in the past. Might be a little more difficult because you want to have that challenge in your back pocket, like the Islanders use that challenge to get the offside call. But momentum in a game is everything. I don't believe in there's massive momentum from game to game, especially like in regular season. Sometimes in the playoffs there is, but you need to kind of be ready. You need to reset your guys, especially whenever, they just dealt with what they did and show they weren't ready to basically be ready for the next shift. And then you have G with a massive shift, big forecheck, gets the guys going. Another good smart forecheck for the next goal. And you're down 4-3, which is like, I think you're in a good position. You scored the last two goals, and then it's just, a brutal bounce on the killer. Is a killer with the point shots. They're defending on those point shots isn't great. I think they're kind of just facing the shooter and just hoping for the best. Where I think you need to maybe defend the sticks a little better, defend with the body. Sometimes when the puck heads to their D man, Ottawa's defenseman or low forward kind of move up too quickly instead of watching their man. So that's something that they need to work on, I think. Just overall defending, managing the game, I think is almost more than defending. Just being smart about what's going on in the game, where you're at in the game, and managing the puck and managing, what you're doing off the faceoff. There a couple of times off the faceoffs, they were not very good. And I don't mean the guy losing the draw. It's the wingers having issues, the D-men not ready. So it's just being ready to play, I think. And I'm not sure why that is, because they do say they want to play for DJ, and it looks like sometimes they're just not ready. So is that on the coach, or at some point these guys are in the NHL? It's on the players. That said, it's a new game tonight. And just like, talking about defending, Florida has 2.9 goals per game versus Ottawa's 3.69, and the record's much, much better. So it just shows in this league that you need to defend. You need to defend. You need to defend. You need to manage the puck, manage the game. Ottawa's at their best when they get good shoot-ins, getting on the forecheck. That opens up the ice to carry the puck in the future. But it's not consistent enough, unfortunately. But I think me and the fans see how good it can be when it is going well, and we have those expectations. Now they're a younger team, sure, but you have to have high expectations, or else you just never achieve those. Get to the level that you want to get to as a team. So tonight, I think Florida's playing that hard game. I think they jumped on Matthew Tkachuk's back last year. He drags you into the fight. And I think they've carried that. It's becoming their identity, something that the Senators don't really have right now. But it also took Florida a long time too, and a trade for a really good player to become that. But they got a good team here. Obviously Barkov can play against any center in the league. On the back end, Ekblad, I thought was really, really good before his last injury, not this past injury, but the injury before. We'll see how he bounces back. They just have some bigger D to fill out those spots as well. So it's going to be a hard game, but that might be good for the Ottawa Senators to drag them into the fight here and get back to the basics and just, play a good, hard, purposeful game. It's not a must win, but it's a must win. You don't play till Friday. You're at home on a Monday night here. Florida, I think, maybe lost 2 in a row. So it's a big game. Going to expect a lot out of Brady Tkachuk tonight. Lead by example against his brother. Stützle's seems to be like he's dealing with an injury, not taking many faceoffs at all. He's, but there is some time here. So if he's going to get better, it is smart to kind of use this time. But he's probably dealing with an upper body injury. It's time for others to step up here. The lines, it looks like it's going to be Tkachuk, Stützle, Giroux, Joseph, Norris, Batherson, Kubalik, Chartier, Tarasenko, Kelly, Highmore, McEwen, Gerventi sent down, and obviously Matt Sogard sent down. It'd be nice to have Chartier on that fourth line and someone to fit like a guy like Pinto in that third line role, or obviously Greg. I think then your lineup looks much more complete. I think Tarasenko doing him a disservice playing him with who he's playing with, but at this point, I think Giroux needs to play with Stützle for faceoffs. Norris is playing, and Norris and Joseph's playing with Norris and Batherson to get them going, I believe. So they're trying to, have 2 of those good lines. Third line, Kubalik, Chartier, Tarasenko, if they could just manage some possession and just win shifts, I think that's good. And then your fourth line, that's a flip there. Gerventi, now being sent down, I think at times he was starting to look comfortable. He's just a light kid right now. He needs to kind of get stronger, but you do see his ability with the puck at times. He does have some poise at times and can make plays, but it's just not consistent enough yet because he is so light on the puck, losing battles and stuff. That's back to just getting stronger, as I always talk about these young kids, and it's more evident than ever. These are men in the league. They come in a little light, and that's okay. It takes time, but that should give him a little taste of the NHL in a longer stretch than he's played in it before, and that hopefully will motivate him, and I'm sure it will. So, I think it's just a big game. In nets, Forsberg wasn't great the other night. Mike Kelly talked about needing a save. Definitely need a save. Last game to just settle the boys down, and you didn't necessarily get that, which is too bad. I had hopes that he was going to continue his Sweden game right into Friday, but that's a big kind of lag in between games, so it's harder for a goalie to stay hot. And that's why, December is going to be a tough schedule, but Ottawa hasn't got to play a ton of back-to-back games or game every 2 nights. So I think that could be good for them just to kind of get into a rhythm. So obviously December will be big, and it'd be nice to kind of get a win tonight to kick off December. And I think we could kind of maybe jump into some questions here. Is there a lack of identity on the coach or the leadership of the team? Yeah, at times, yeah, I think so. I think it was going the right direction. Once you got Brady here and that tough, hard to play against Senators with some skill up front, the back end having ability to get the puck up the ice, and a good forecheck, but it's not consistent enough anymore for me. And life, anything you do is about consistency, and we're all guilty of not being consistent all the time, but these are pro athletes that make a lot of money. I think consistency is a massive issue, and whether that stems from the coach fully or the players itself, I think they have to look in the mirror and realize that they need to be better day in and day out. It's hard, like we could beat the dead horse to say it's a great league, and it is, but other teams seem to do it. Maybe they're a little farther on in their progression of a team, but there's like Buffalo is kind of going through that. Detroit's had a little ups and downs. They're back on an upswing, so it looks better for them. They've also got some goaltending again, but it's tough. But it's time to bear down for the Sens, and it feels like we're going to be saying that all year until they finally do, whether if they figure that out or not. But you almost have to overemphasize the defensive side of the puck to kind of get it into their heads, and it's maybe like almost like a golf swing. So sometimes it might get worse before it gets better, in a sense, which is a little scary because the NHL is to win games. It's not to be practicing the defensive side of the puck. But at this point, I'm not really sure what else to do. I think in practice, I don't know. I wish I was at practice. Used to go to practice with Brian, and you just get a more of a feel of what they're doing and how they can improve. But so I could only go on what I see on the ice, and it's not great. It's consistent breakdown after breakdown, and there's no accountability for the most part after. And it's hard because there are injuries. So who are you going to play? You're going to try and ride your big guns as long as you can till you're out of a job, I guess. And you don't want to lose your job by sitting guys down and losing games big because your big guys aren't playing. But there becomes a point, it's to deter the stuff that is going on right now. So things need to change, obviously. I think there needs to be a coach that demands excellence, that demands two sides of the ice, both sides of the puck, demands you take care of your defensive responsibilities, and empower these guys to play that side of the puck and make them care about that side of the puck and empower them and give them more of a role and a defined role of what they want in their own end, and then they could be proud of that too, right? So if you have a goal and a role, I think you can be a little more proud of your defensive side of the puck. And then offensively, I'm good with working on some stuff offensively to like allow the free flow of the game, just working on like little give and goes and just so you have ideas when you're on the ice. I don't think you need to coach the offensive side of the puck as long as your defensive side of the puck is good. I think naturally you'll break out with support and then the game will flow a little easier too if you take care of your own zone and kind of break out as a unit. That's kind of how I feel right now. What about the goalies? Forsberg is near the worst save percentage in the league. So Trevor, I agree. I just saw that stat. He's, I think, top 5 in expected goals against, 2 like in a bad way. Korpisalo obviously being hurt. I jumped the gun probably a little bit last time, thinking the injury might be a little longer. I thought, so after Forsberg's performance, I thought Sogard would have been great to see him play and start tonight. I thought that would have been a great opportunity on a Monday in Ottawa. He's been playing well in Belleville. Sometimes a hot hand is just good to go. He's proven he can be a goalie in this league. For his long-term development, it's better to go play a bunch of games because that's what he needs. But I think if Korpisalo could get in, he's feeling healthy. I think that would be him rolling there. I think you just let him take the bull by the horns at this point. If that's the 2 goalies we have, but I definitely think Sogard is worth a call up for a game. He's proven that he's played well in the last year and then this year in Belleville. So what's not to like about that? I think you could just give a jolt to the team too. But cap issues, all that stuff comes into effect, unfortunately, which, leads to, are they going to have to trade a guy here? Kubalik seems like the easy guy out. I don't know if you can do anything on the back end. I think, if you're getting into some tougher decisions, if you have to do that. So unfortunately, I don't mind Kubalik at all. Especially on his 1-year deal. There's a team I got to think that would take Kubalik, even a team like, maybe just outside the playoffs. Or if you're a bad team, why wouldn't you want a guy like that that can just round out your roster, that's scored goals before? And then, obviously you hear Chicago on Twitter and other people talking about it. That to me, that could be an obvious move there. Losing Taylor Hall, just adding to your lineup for them. Corey Perry's situation is not sure what's going on there. Hopefully everything's okay with him and his family. That's a Tim Murray, Brian Murray, and their group pick. So always was a big fan of him. And how could you not be? Just the way he plays. He drags guys into the fight, scores goals, wins cups, won everywhere he played. And, was brought in there to help guide the younger crew along. And so I just hope everything is all right there. But back to the goalies. I think you're going to have to do something here if Forsberg can't get going. Unfortunately, this is the NHL. We don't have time right now to wait. So we need to win. We need to win games. All right, let's go to the next. This is all right here. I think we'll manage doing this. Who will win a cup first, Toronto or Ottawa? I might have missed one. We can always go back. Ottawa. I just think they're set up. I talked about this on a high level the other day, and too bad we didn't kind of wait for a day like this. But I love where Ottawa's at long term. I think they just need to make some good moves here, as any team does, but I think they're set up to do well. I think they got the goalies of the future. I think they have a good back end. If they need to tweak it, they can get out a deal. They can get out of every contract there. I know they have to sign Chychrun. You have Shabbat, who some people say you need to trade, but depending on how much the cap goes up here, I think you're fine. And if you have guys like Clevin filling in roles, JBD, if you want, I think Hamonic is there one more year. I think he's becoming redundant at this point, especially if Clevin can play full time next year. So I think, and then your forwards, obviously, like your big guys are locked up long term at great money. It kind of fell into their lap with COVID and the cap not going up when these guys were ready for their new contract. If the cap was going up every year during their time to sign, I think you'd be looking at higher contracts. And that's kind of what the Leafs had happened to them. They signed guys before COVID. And then obviously the cap not going up, they were a team that was really expecting it to go up. And that's why they made those signings. So a team that's a little harder, a team in a better position in the future. I think Ottawa sets up for that to win a cup first. I think it's going to, and when you talk about a cup winning team, what do we think of? We think of a really good coach. We think a team that could play defensively. We think of a team that has a good center ice, a team that can be physical. So we have some of that, but we need to maybe clean up some of the other parts. And I don't want to be knocking DJ and just keep harping on that. I've talked about it before. I think realistically in any franchise development, you're going to have to get rid of your coach that kind of did the rebuilding phase. And it is what it is. I've seen family members get fired. It sucks, but that is life. It's all perspective. You got to coach in the NHL for 5 years, making really good money. Doesn't mean you're not getting another job again. You're going to be better at your job next time. And it's all the ball's in his court if it happens to just go and become a better coach and get another job. And if I was a team, I would seriously look at hiring DJ after, if he got let go from Ottawa. Now, would there be some questions I have to ask him? Sure. But there's going to be questions he asks himself, and he's going to improve. I got to think. And maybe he gets the ball going here with the Sens, but it's been so consistent with these guys that you can't really trade these players at you see people talking about trading Batherson, and I don't want to trade a guy when he's down and low. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. So it's, as they say, it's a lot easier to get rid of a coach than 21 players. So unfortunately, that's typically how it goes, and that's the game. So who do I pick to win a cup first? Ottawa. Is their lineup good enough once Pinto, Greg, Chabot get back? Can we fix all the weakness internally? I think so. Why not? We haven't got to see it much, but at the start of the year, they're rolling. I think that would do a big, the lineup alone, I think, is good enough to win games, despite their coaching efforts or whatever. So obviously that's going to help. I think Greg and Pinto are both two-way guys. I think both intelligent. So that's naturally going to help. I mean, people have knocked Chabot a lot this year. You look at the event stats for the Sens since he's been gone. It hasn't been good. Maybe a little surprising to me as well. Obviously I'm a little biased due to my love of Chabot with being involved in drafting him. He was in the Quebec League. It's a first round pick, so everyone's involved. I'm not taking credit for that by any means. But I was a big fan of him, as we all were. And it was a good pick. The guy continued to get better. I mean, I think he won best defenseman best player at the World Junior Championship as a defenseman. Not many do that. And that's usually a good barometer of how they're going to do as a pro. He came in, he was pretty good. I think built up bad habits over time and maybe wanting his ice time to, his efficiency to be maxed. So he started to play a different way. Bad habits are sometimes tough to break, but they are breakable. So hopefully he comes back and just kind of takes that defensive approach, move the puck simple, skate it out of trouble if need be, and then from there just kind of build the rest of your game out. But I think that would do a lot for the Sens if he can kind of come in and be that a good presence on the back end, and then obviously the two up front. I mean, our lineup just transforms having, even let's say you just put in Greg as the third line center on the lineup that I said before. That really changes your lineup. I mean, that gets Tarasenko more involved. That brings that line, that gives a little harder on the puck to that line. I mean, Greg's still a little light player, but he's so good. He's so smart. He can get in on the forecheck. I think that line would be a lot better, obviously, having Greg over Chartier. And no fault at Chartier. I mean, he's playing NHL games. He must be pumped for that. But we're trying to, make the playoffs here. Greg would go a long way there. And then, or vice versa, with just adding Pinto into that third line spot would really help the team. So now you add two. I think you're flush with center ice, which is always good. I know Simmer mentioned about Norris maybe moving to the wing when those two guys are back. And I think it gives you those options. In my mind, I mean, it's never going that way, but if your forwards can play all positions on the ice, it just allows you to have a lineup that's fluid. When you're on the ice, you might be on the ice with another centerman. So if you're the last man back as the guy that took the face off, knowing the other guy that typically plays center is out there and is the first man back, it allows you to just slide up to that wing and just kind of, your team defense is a little better. It can't hurt having two center ice on almost every line, because in theory, you should be better defensively. Now, are they going to pick up the puck on the wing off the boards from the defenseman, or like a kind of a 50-50 puck? Now, that's tougher because they didn't grow up doing that. And that is a skill. That's an underrated skill. Guys that are very good at that. I mean, Mark Stone was a star at that. Evander Kane's really good at that. He, always able to get the puck out of his own zone if need be. From the wing. So that's something that they'll have to work on in practice, but that's easy to work on. I mean, you could just do that after practice and get many reps in right away and just feel comfortable. So, yeah. Are we getting cheated with effort as of late? Outshot, out hit. I mean, that seems to be the game. We're always chasing the game here. And that's partly the way they play, partly effort at times, partly intelligence at times. Cheating. There's just lack of accountability. I don't know how deep they go into things in the video room. I think you can watch too much video, and I think sometimes coaches watch too much video and don't talk to their players enough. But I think this case is maybe the opposite. I think it would be good to watch a good team, how they play, and all their little things that they do to help you win. It's funny, like Man U. So I'll talk soccer here for a quick second. They just had an 18-year-old play the midfield the other day. 18-year-old scored maybe the best bicycle kick ever in the Premier League, and he won man of the match. But the best player on the ice or on the field was the 18-year-old midfield. He just controlled the game, didn't cheat, just makes all the right little plays, get back defensively, and all the players knew, so you might not get credit for doing all those little things, I guess I want to say, but they help you win the game. All those little battles, little stick checks, little being in the right position with your body, not letting a guy get to the net. And then when you get the puck, making that little pass, all those things just build up and build up and build up and make the game a lot easier, but make your team just have a little more success. And then you're possessing the puck more, which means, you're probably getting more shots. You're probably allowing them to not have as many chances. And it just builds and builds and builds, almost like, like a pyramid. And they're forgetting those little things. And it's just not happening. And it's just not innate in them right now at times. And how to build that, I think you really have to make an emphasis on that in practice and in the room, and practicing maybe it's smaller games to kind of keep away, like Alfie was the best at it. And because you practice it, right? So you're not going to improve on those things if you don't make an effort to practice that stuff. Cheating, no accountability. it's a bad recipe, and you're going to get outplayed. And they have enough skill to just counter that at times, and that's what's the scary part is they can just go score goals and win games and not have to do that other stuff. And it's like, well, what if they did? What if the Ottawa Senators were good defensively, manage games, understand what to do in certain situations, and didn't get caught cheating? Like on those faceoffs, they're not getting to where they need to be. And then they go down and score. They're not ready. And so what if they were? And I think the sky's the limit for this team if they could. And that's maybe the most frustrating part. All right. We're at 30 minutes here. Thank you for bearing with me. Speaking of trades, not saying we should, but would you trade Chabot for a right-hand D that makes less money? Would you solve cap issues? Again, not saying we should. Okay, this one's a difficult one. I don't want to trade guys when the team's not performing. So I would be scared to. If you're even planning on getting rid of the coach, which I'm sure they're talking about, I don't want to make a trade yet. Now, in theory, yes, we need a right shot defenseman. So if you could just trade Thomas Chabot for Thomas Chabot, right-hander, 100%. That said, I don't want to trade guys when their values may be a little bit lower because the team's not as good and they've been bad for the last 5 years. I think if you're going to make a coaching decision, you finish out the year, unless something falls into your lap for a trade. You finish out the year, see how guys improved. Even if they did improve, you might say we still might make that deal, but maybe now, if you're trading them for a lesser player that's a right shot D with lesser money, maybe you get a first or a second or a third instead of a second, third, or fourth along with it. I'm not hypothesizing trades, but my point is you're going to get more, or you're going to get a better player for these guys if they're performing better. In team like classic team makeup, yes, we want a right shot defenseman. No question about that. Chikrin was really good to start the year. He hasn't been as good of late. So to trade Chabot too, knowing that you're going to have to give Chikrin more money than probably, because he'll know he's the guy then, right? Too. So he's going to demand money. Now you could say he likes it here and all that, which is, I believe, to be true. And I think he's a solid player. But you're just kind of letting him ask for whatever he wants then too. But this decor, Chris Tanev would be, he would be good on any team. He's older and not as good as he was, but that mold of player that is just solid, hard to play against. When Edmonton beat Calgary, was it 2 years ago in the playoffs? All the players on Calgary said, yeah, we didn't have Chris Tanev, would have been a different series. Now, I don't think that's a good message to be saying, but I think that shows what that type of guy can do for your team. I think it can transform you. And I think you could add those guys later in the rebuild too. Cleven's hopefully like that. Probably not as hard, but he's going to bring that to the team. If you can imagine like a guy instead of Hamonic, you have a guy like Chris Tanev. This team's a lot better. Now that would put you over the cap, correct? But that's kind of where I see that mold going. So yeah, would you trade Chabot for a younger right shot Chris Tanev or Style and then have some extra cap space with Cleven up? You're probably pretty happy with your team. And next year you're going to lose Tarasenko potentially, or signing him at the same amount of money. You're losing Kubalik. You're gaining cap. I think you wait to the offseason to decide what you really want to do there and set out a plan. That full new movement clause to Hamonic is senseless. Obviously, I don't know what we're doing there. Let's go with the Sens stuff right now. If there's any more Sens questions, then we could go into the league. How long do we keep DJ Smith? As long as you're winning. If you're winning, you keep him. If not, he's probably gone. It's up to him and the guys. It's up to him and the guys right now to show what they're capable of. But past performance, it, makes me think that it's not going to change, unfortunately. And that's frustrating because we see the quality of the players on the ice. He's gonna go as long as he's winning. If they go in a losing streak, I gotta think something will happen. Because you don't want to have another lost season of bad habits. That does well. Your pick, whatever. If it's 7 to 15, it doesn't matter. I don't care. This team needs to get back to good habits. So whether that's DJ and you're winning or he's losing and you bring in a guy, you're going to have to do that. And it that could be when you're working on your golf swing for the rest of the year. It's just going to work, overemphasizing defensive side of the puck, building that natural defensive sense and want. And then you come back next year hoping that you're going into training camp with all the foundation that they've already built. And that's if a season's lost, because you're only getting rid of them if the season's done. I don't think you wait till the off season to bring in a guy if possible. You need to work on the good habits right away. So next season, you're not starting with another poor start. You're diving right into it. You're rocking and rolling. So how many of the next 10 do we need? We're at the bottom right now. 7 to 3. Let me just pull this up here. Schedule. I think you need to win all your division games if possible. You're going to the Blue. So you're going Panthers. You want to win tonight. Friday, Blue Jackets. Got to win that one. Okay. You're Seattle at home after coming back from the Blues. Hey, it's a good team. You got to win that. Rangers, obviously, that's my bet to win the cup. They've been rolling. That'll be tough, but the Sens play them well, I think. So it's a good schedule here. Some road teams. So I'm going 7 to 3, but your Western Conference games, if you lose those, it's a little easier. I want it 7 to 3 to get us back going. 8 of, if it's 7, 6, 2 and 1, fine. Or sorry, that doesn't. So 7, 2 and 1. Yeah. But they need to win. They can't just be winning one, they can't just go 6 and 4. It needs to be better than that. So that's kind of where I'm at. And that's going to be for the rest of the year. And then those games in your division, in your conference, you got to win those. There's a big emphasis on winning of those. We need to go 4-0 to get, All right, Dwight. So we need to go 4-0 to get 24 points at the 20-game mark. We're pretty much down 3-0 in the playoff series. Got to run the table of the next 4. Yeah, that's fair. 3-1 will kind of, and then you're like, okay, we didn't have a great start, but here we go. Let's just hope. At the end of the day, they need to start winning at a good clip. This can't, you can't just go. You can't just win 2, lose 1, win 1, lose 1, and lose 2. It's just it's none of that shit anymore. It's time to bear down, and if you want to make the playoffs, you got to win games in this league. I mean, that's pretty simple. So yeah. Chick is going to want 68 million with term. Fine. I'm good with that. I don't think you're going over 8 million. Doctor, got to be careful with trades before coaching is solidified. Yeah, 100%. Completely agree. You don't want to make a bad trade. Is Norris starting to become a worry? Okay. For me, it's always been a worry. That shoulder. And then you miss a bunch of time. I'm not going to worry till about, maybe 6-7 more games, see if he can get this back. But yeah, it's a bigger contract, a contract that I would be worried about trading. If there's one contract on this team that I'd be worried about trading at times, it could be him. Teams will be wary about his shoulder. And he hasn't been playing great. Now we'll see. Can Joseph get him going tonight? I mean, that seems to be the trick lately. Whoever's playing with Joseph is rolling. So it'd be nice, obviously great kid. Has proven that he's a good NHLer. Just had some bad luck. And I hope he figures it out here. And I'm going to give him time to figure it out. I think he deserves that time to figure it out. Get rid of Brandstrom. Yeah. When I look at a team's makeup, that's a guy you could trade this year if things are not going well. When I think of a team in the playoffs, I don't think or a team winning games in the playoffs, I don't think they have a Brandstrom on their team. So take that as you will. He's not hard enough. He's not dynamic enough with the puck. He doesn't shoot the puck well enough. I mean, he took that clapper for a goal, but it's a one-off. I don't think he's not a Vince Dunn. He's not a Torrey Krug. You could find a guy bigger to do what he does. Imagine not winning games with Giroux, Brady, Tarasenko, and Timmy on the team. Yeah, I agree. And add other guys, Sanderson, Chikrin. I mean, it's crazy. But that just shows you that what probably needs to be fixed. But I don't want to be the guy just beating a dead horse here. I think we all know that something needs to happen. And that's structure or a change in the staff. So Anthony's going to be at the game tonight. Really hoping they don't come out flat. Yeah, you got to be ready to play. That's consistent. They're consistently inconsistent, this team. So they just need to come out firing. And it's the same thing we talk about all the time. So it's insanity, but these things need to be changed. And I got to think a great, and when I say change with the staff, I'm picturing hiring a really good coach. So you're not just changing the coach to just go hire someone you're not sure on either. So you got to be careful with that. There's some good coaches out there. You got to be sure. You got to do your due diligence. And really, really, really be sure. This is it would be a massive hire for you. So you need to really, really, really be sure. Is there a no-brainer to keep both first rounders this year and give up 2025? Yeah, I think you're keeping right now. You're just going to push that pick to when you're better. Hopefully, you're in the high up in the regular season standings and a good playoff team before that pick pushes. What I would say is you're keeping these picks. You're either making the pick or making a really good trade for a guy with low cap space that helps with a low cap hit to help your team win. This team is, I didn't like the trade for DeBrincat because I didn't think they're ready to win. I think this team with the cap space and guys coming, I think this team is now ready to take the step for a good trade. If it falls into your lap or you find a good trade. Yeah. Sure. All right. Positive note, what are some good habits we've seen from the team? Awesome. Ability to score. Ability to just, things could be going bad and they could just score goals. So I like that. This team could score. I'm never going to be worried about this team not scoring. So that Korpisalo, individual performances at times I'm really happy with. Chikrin has been not as good of late, but he's been good. Sanderson's been good. So all these individual performances just aren't relating to a team performance right now. Korpisalo, if he's back to normal here, I'm happy with that signing so far. Who would I hire as a coach? I mean, it's tough. I mean, I obviously like Joel Quenneville, but I think some shit has gone on with him. So, but that style of coach, I think. Listen, you might hire a coach too that is going to get fired in a couple years because he's going to be so hard on the guys. But that's okay. Like Gerard Gallant. Gerard Gallant maybe is a guy that he's going to be fiery. The guys are going to want to play for, but he's also going to demand. And that's what this team needs. You rise to expectations in life if you're good, you rise to expectations in life if someone's on you and demanding, and then you set goals for yourself. So I think that needs to happen. I think this team can do that. I see bring back Jacques Martin as an assistant coach. I'm 100% down for that. I think you need the defensive-minded coaches in here and just build that structure, and they'll never forget it. That will do them 2 years. That will do them 2 years of hard, will do them 10 years of good, if that makes sense now. That trade for DeBrincat was horrible. Does Seos ride the season, DJ, if they roll 500? I think at some point, if you're rolling 500, you need to change it if you can get a guy in that can focus on the defensive side of the puck. If you're going 500 and not making the playoffs, you need to focus on all the others. You need to focus on your game and get it ready for next year and build those good habits. The fact that DJ couldn't game plan and take it. So that's from Chad. The fact that DJ couldn't game plan and take advantage of his team that's down 2 top defensemen with the first 5 minutes, very telling as his ability as a coach. 100% agree. In-game management, don't love. I think that's a really good skill to have that not all coaches have and not many do. In-game management, being aware. You could get caught up in your lines, your matchups and all that and not even really know who's going. I've seen it before. And then there's some good coach. There's some average coaches that have good bench management too. So it's a skill. I think, you're right, Chad. I think that shows what is lacking. And there's just no real changes. There's no foresight. There's no goals. There's no, this is what we want to do. Well, if there is, they're not doing it. So what does that tell you? Around the league. Has Edmonton turned a corner winning their last couple? But they're the fire wagon hockey, and that's how it's going to be. They're going to get hot. Connor McDavid's playing well again. So, they're probably going to win more games than they lose because of that. I mean, that's when you have the best player in the world. That's what's lucky. So you're lucky to have that. So I think they're probably going to go on a little run here. Looks like Skinner played a little better. Still looking for a goalie if possible. So but I don't. There again, what can you do with that big contract in the minors? Jack Campbell was obviously no good when he went down. I know he had one good game after I think 3 or 4 bad ones. Not sure where he's at. I'm sure they're hoping he returns to form. But that's a little wishful thinking, I think. And just around the league, I think Bruins coming back down to life a little bit. Carolina, I need a goalie probably. Florida Panthers playing well. Rangers, I mean, there's a good team. They're big D, guys that can move the puck, but big D. Top line obviously is really good, but then they have a bunch of guys that go to work up front. Lafreniere obviously is really coming into his own, and that's why guys take time. I was worried about him. I saw him play in junior, not in his draft year, but He was a late birthday, so I saw him as a 17-year-old is when you see most prospects. And I mean, he was a superstar, but it was done on hard work, smarts, ability, and it wasn't like he's so obviously skilled, but he's just not like pure skill as other players maybe have. But he's really coming into his own. He's going to work, and it just takes some time. And he's proven that. And then that's a guy that's going to help you win both sides of the puck, gets dirty, goes to the net, scoring goals. Obviously, we have Timmy Stützle, so I'm quite happy with that. But the Rangers are just a wagon right now, and they're going to be until someone proves they aren't. Good goaltending. So, yeah. The Eastern Conference has some good teams here. What did you trade Batherson, Chabot, and Korpisalo for Draisaitl and Campbell? I mean, that's a tough one because, I mean, you're getting the best player, but then what the hell do you do for a goalie? And then you're the Edmonton Oilers. So I like to try and make a better trade, or knowing that you can do something with finding a goalie in the back end somehow, because I don't think Sogaard's ready to play a full year, but I think he should be playing game. Like if you can mix him in for a game or two every now and then when you need if Korpisalo is hurt or something, I think I'm not worried about that. But yeah, I'd be worried about long term for a goalie if you make that trade, because that Campbell contract, if there's an untradeable contract in the league, it's probably that one. The position he plays, how bad he's been. Contract is eating up a lot of money of cap space. It'll be a tough one. All right, so we've done 52 minutes. This is longer than I thought. Draisaitl has a couple of years left too. I would assume that there would be a extension in there. If you did in the offseason, I think he could sign an extension. So thank you for everyone that's done some comments here. This has made my life a little easier. I don't mind this. This is just like sitting at a Quebec tavern, shooting the shit, maybe sitting at the Brass with my buddies or local heroes with my buddies after a game of hockey and just talking about the Sens and the NHL, and there's nothing better than that. Do I have plans to get into NHL at some point? So I do mortgages for anyone that's been listening. You need a mortgage, renewal, purchase, reach out, jmurray@keyrate.com. A little plug for myself. But yeah, I didn't think I realized how much I missed it. I was super young when I was doing it. I needed to go learn about life a little more. I think I would be a much better scout. I think I understood talent, and now I understand more what talent plays. I didn't get to talk to players really. I was just 5-6 years older than them. The guys were drafting. So, and I think that goes into a lot of it, finding out who these guys are. Like anything in life, if you're a nurse, a doctor, construction worker, a bartender, there's better ones, and in every profession, there's better people and there's worse people, and it's all about how much you want it. And I think I just assumed a lot of players maybe at the time would naturally want to become a player. And I go back and look at my list. For the most part, I'm pretty happy. But, the mistakes I made are thinking guys just want to become players. And I didn't get to talk to those players or really find out about them on the back end. So some I'm super happy with, and some, maybe not as much. So what I'd like to get back in hockey, 100%. I think that's something down the road I would be interested in. And till I started doing this, it's not something I really thought about, but I love it. I really do. I like talking. I love talking hockey, and I love talking the game. I love like organizational structure and and because that's what I grew up in, scouts, but also around a GM and assistant GM and them talking to agents and talking to media, their coaches, all that, and like how an organization should run top to bottom. I love that. I love it in soccer. I love it in baseball. I love it in football, even in a sense, very different. But yeah. So what I like to, my dad. He's hanging out in Shawville. He did it for 20 some years, 30 years, always on the road. Every time anytime I bump into someone from the league, they always ask, and same old answer. He has some racehorses that he has. Some are good, some are bad. Golf's, shout out to Renfrew Golf Course. Golf's does some golf trips. Watches BNN, I guess, Bloomberg now. So he's happy. He's happy. Did I think he was too young at one point to leave the game? Sure. Did he have offers? 100%. Lots of offers. But he's happy. And at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. Right? So he's good. Any players that have surprised you this year around the league? Anyone's I'm disappointed with? I mean, Quinn Hughes has been on a mission. I guess you knew he had that ability, but it's good to see it happen. I say it, my buddy Chad likes to say he's a treat to watch about players that are good, and that's where I'm at. Sam Reinhart, Tim Murray guy, been a star this year. And obviously there's been players better, but right, it's just talking about guys that have really been good. Kyle Connor always ceases to amaze me. Brandon Hagel, just kind of scrolling through the list. When I see these guys play, they've been good. Chris Kreider seems to just do it. Trevor Moore is a guy that I have in fantasy hockey, and he just seems to find a way. So obviously on a good team, but it's funny. You look at the Leafs and some of the guys they traded away. I think they wish they had those guys. But that's okay. Like, it's going to happen in this league. You're going to make some good trades. You're going to make some bad trades. So, but it's funny if you put some guys that the Leafs had back into their lineup, and took away the guys that they're traded for, that's probably not even on their team or whatever. They might be pretty happy with their roster, which leads to believe like maybe sometimes don't rush things. I get the window's open, so you want to go, but I think you got to be very, very, very sure if you're making a good trade. If you're making a trade, that they would be really, but you need to be sure. You need to be sure the contract needs to be very good. Yeah. Okay, I'll do. Do you think Trouba has nudes of Gary Bettman? It's kind of how the rules are. I don't think you can do a fine higher than that or much higher than that. So, fortunately, that's where it's at. Do the Rangers get a little extra because they're the New York Rangers? Maybe they do, but they're a big market team, unfortunately. So that's sometimes life. Hoping he'd be the next GM here. I don't think he's interested in that. I don't think they'll be reaching out to him for that. But I always would say, as a consultant, I think there'd be no better man, because I think he would tell you what others will not tell you. And I think that goes a long way in the game. When you have someone questioning you on what you're doing, I think that leads to better decisions, if that makes sense. Him and Brian were a good team. Him and Brian were a great team. So, 12:59. This has been good. Thank you for understanding on this. We'll just kind of roll with it. I hope everything gets better with Simmer and his family. Please give us a like on YouTube or Facebook. Hit the subscribe button. It really goes a long way. We're building here, but we can always kind of keep pushing and keep pushing. So if you can do that, that would be awesome. Really help our podcast grow. We're going to continue to try and bring you good insight from the league, from two guys that have kind of been there, Sean more so than me. I was lucky enough to be around the game. So just kind of, say how I feel about things from the outside. But looking forward, I think the Sens have a lot of good people, a lot of good scouts, a lot of good management with what's there right now. I think Bonus does a good job. In the office, there's a bunch of good people. So I think it's only up from here. Don't get too down. I think there's good days ahead. So let's get a win tonight. Will be a good game. Will be a really good game. Florida's a good team. Maybe it might be right to set them straight. So thank you to everyone. Live from the penthouse. I am out. See ya.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Simmer Down with Sean Simpson on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.